In a story you'll only see on ABC 17 News, the numbers are in. Columbia Water and Light has the damage report from the July 7th storm. The winds that blew through after the July 4th weekend cost the city hundreds of thousands of dollars to restore power, but officials say not to worry. There's still enough money in case of another emergency. ABC 17's Dan Messineo spoke to officials and joins us live to break down the report. Dan?
Joya, this area of town on Fairview was one of the areas in town hit the hardest. And to give you an idea of the power of this storm, it blew over 6 of these 80-foot poles down to the ground. Now, Columbia Water and Light utility officials tell me today the hundreds of thousands of dollars it costs to clean up and restore power comes out of the utilities reserves. The storm that tore through Columbia in early July blew through with 80-mile-an-hour winds, uprooting trees, snapping electrical lines and utility poles, and cutting power to more than 14,000 people. Columbia Water and Light now have the cost of restoring power after the destructive storm.
We had line workers climbing over into ravines, couldn't take a truck back there or any tools, climbing over debris piles that were at least 6 feet tall and at least 6 feet wide, if not wider than that. So a lot of the restoration work had to be done by hand.
The city manager declared an emergency situation in the aftermath. And for the first time in more than 30 years, multiple crews from outside areas came into Columbia to help. The total bill for power restoration was just under $750,000. The majority of it, around $420,000, going toward paying electrical crews. Around $235,000 paid city contractors, which included electricians and a tree trimming service. The rest of the money was spent on materials. City officials tell me the money to pay these bills comes from the utilities reserve fund.
Whenever we do have to dip into that reserve amount, we do have to replenish it because we like to keep it at a certain level. So it is an impact on the electric utility and the ratepayers as far as where the money is going. But I think all in all, for the damage that we saw, this is a lot less expensive than some of us were thinking.
The power restoration took almost 140 people working 16-hour days. Officials say most of the power was restored in 2 days. Some had to wait until Saturday because of electrical lines being ripped from their house. City officials say not to worry. They are prepared and have budgeted just in case Mother Nature decides to hit us again this winter.
That's part of our planning that we have to do, is not only prepare for contingencies if one thing happens in a year, but maybe 2 things happen in a year.
Officials tell me that these electrical crews work in incredibly dangerous conditions when they're repairing after storms such as this, and they are happy to report that no one was injured during the cleanup of this mess. Reporting live on Fairview near Ash Street, Dan Messineo, ABC 17 News.
Water and Light officials say they learn lessons from every disaster and consistently look for new and better ways to respond to future events. A street in North Columbia